With FSR3 coming to Starfield, it made me question why AMD constantly needs Nvidia to pioneer new technologies only for them to catch up. I understand it's Nvidia's nature and in their best interests and R&D budget to create proprietary technologies like frame generation or G-Sync, only for AMD to follow up with an open source, cheaper solution. So my question is, why can't AMD just develop these technologies, i.e. FSR3 and now AFMF? Works on every GPU. Why doesn't AMD develop new technologies designed around an open source software-based nature, considering their market position? Is it too costly for R&D, which is why they need Nvidia to create the fancy black box version first? Have there been scenarios where a new feature has been pioneered by AMD? I guess nothing quite as game-changing. I mean, there's the GPU open stuff. There's quite a lot of interesting stuff that does actually get posted there, but it's not actual game-changing features specifically, is it?
Yeah, this is true. And we still have yet to see. There was a couple of things about GI that they put out recently on GPU Open that I thought were very intriguing. Like taking the Reister concept and tweaking it, which were very interesting, but they'll still have yet to be implemented in any games. I think it's been a while since we've seen that from them, and I do think it is the R&D issue about just how Nvidia has a lot more money to spend and capital and multi-year product development, where you can have a group of engineers working on something like DLSS 3 frame generation for, I can't even remember how many years it took them. It took them quite a while.
I think it was 5 or 6. I think Brian Catanzaro has been at Nvidia since what, 2008 was it?
Yeah, and that's when he started
looking at machine learning. Back then, I mean, that's a significant chunk of R&D investment that didn't really come good until what, 2020?
Yeah, really.
Wow.
So it just goes to show that there was a lot of long-term stuff going on there that required vision. It's not just money. Like, I think there was another conversation that I thought was nice on Twitter with Brian, was him talking about it, the difference between his experience at the mid-2000s Intel, which was like the height of the, like towards the end, especially the 2000s, the height of the TikTok. Like really I liked my Intel CPUs at the time period, but like it was really just like the next one was always the next one, but faster a little bit for a good long time. They were great, but you know, it took vision to do those things. And that's one thing I've been really wanting from AMD for a while now, is just like for them to showcase their vision of for the future of video game graphics or real-time computing graphics. And they came to once again to the starting line late with AI again, and now they're pushing it really hard on all fronts, excluding the gaming area. They are pushing it on productivity. They're pushing it with accelerators, but they don't have anything for it in visual computing, interestingly enough. That's not the way Nvidia's doing it, and what is not making them do it right now? I'm not exactly sure. I think they should actually get on that. I don't know if they're looking for some sort of open standard for like DirectML for their launch it as a part of an open thing, but I really think they should be getting on that, because then like all these issues that John was just talking about with FSR2, they can say, oh, actually, we have an ML solution too now, and it gets rid of the core issues that people have with FSR2. You just need better hardware for it. And I think that would be, I would love for them to do that, actually.
Any thoughts on this one, John? It does seem to be the case that AMD are playing catch up on the AI stuff specifically.
Yeah.
Across the whole market at this point.
While that's true in recent years, that's the case. But I do remember the old days when they were pioneering things. Like I think they were the first with the DX11 class GPU back in like 2010.
5870.
The 5870, which I bought. And you know, the work they did for Microsoft on the Xbox 360 was pretty pioneering at the time. So I mean, they definitely had that in their past, but it does feel like in the current market, they just can't keep up with that sort of that R&D necessary to pioneer these features. And they ended up kind of playing in, there was this period of time, I would say, between once DX11 hit, it felt like PC gaming entered this stage where innovation kind of went away for a while, and it was just every generation of GPU was just about doing the same thing but faster. And they did that over and over and over again.
Oh God,
and
yes.
that convinced people, I think, that, oh, when I buy a new GPU, it should just be X amount faster, and that's what it does. And you saw that when Nvidia tried to flip the table a little bit, and with the ray tracing introduction and everything beyond that, people didn't take kindly to it at first, because it did kind of upset that typical balance, because the gen on gen performance increase in rasterized titles wasn't as much as they'd been used to. So like the whole market had to shift at that point. And I do wonder if AMD's whole like R&D pipeline just kind of, they also settled into that, that rut, if you will, of doing the same thing but faster with each gen, and they kind of got caught on the back foot of this. I mean, I don't know what their deep R&D would have looked like at this point. Maybe they were deep into all of this stuff. It's really hard to say. It's just from the outside, as somebody, as a consumer looking at what they're doing, it does feel like they kind of got caught off guard on these specific topics, and they've been basically having to catch up. And I'm sure that I suspect that given what's happened in recent years, they're probably investing more into R&D, and there's probably stuff that they're trying to work on and working towards that is not public, that might be very forward looking as well. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, I think from a design point of view, there's interesting things happening with the chiplets design. That's
yeah,
going on
the chiplet, that was
GPUs.
Actually pretty innovative as well, I'd say. So there is there has been some innovation from AMD. I think it's fair to say, just in a different area, and how it directly affects the customer.
It's just far more holistic on the Nvidia side, which is to say, at some point, obviously when 2018, when RTX became a thing, obviously I think there was a discussion. It was like, okay, well, we need to have ray tracing. We need to go down the AI route.
Yep.
How are we going to facilitate this becoming a thing? And the way it happened was to invest heavily in stuff like DLSS. It was to invest heavily working directly with developers, with collaborations like, Cyberpunk 2077, Alan Wake 2, to make this stuff happen. And that is a gigantic investment, which arguably only Nvidia could have made at that time, and possibly could only make right now.
Right.
And I suspect they've laid the template for that. They've realized it's a winning formula, and it's going to persist into whatever form RTX 50 series takes.
That's a good point. Yeah. Those developer relations things where they would send literally people to your studio and help you get RT into your game, or help you integrate DLSS. I mean, AMD will do that too, and they'll put someone on the line, but I don't think I've seen since at least that like the beginning of the DX11 era anything nearly as intensive as what Nvidia has been doing with this RT push. So
yeah, I think we've talked in the past that what is the vision for the future of graphics. And Nvidia has got one, and AMD's is essentially, well, we've got this, we're going to make it go a lot faster, which is two very different sort of visions. And that's the difference in terms of what new features are going to be coming towards the gamer. Whether that changes, I don't know. I guess we just need to find out.